This episode of the PubCast is brought to you by the Southern African Parliamentary Support Trust.
Okay, what's up, my people? My name is Fizzo, aka the keeper of the energy, and a lot of other AKAs which are not applicable today. Welcome to the PubCast, the only podcast where we talk about serious things, but in a light way. Today we've got Patience Phiri. Patience Phiri, please introduce yourself to the people on the internet.
Come on, Fizzo. If we're in a pub, you still need to give me. Say we've got the queen.
The queen, my bad.
The only, all the way from Hilabusi, Matibelele South, Zimbabwe. All right, we're done.
Welcome. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good to have you here.
Hey, Kubongamina. Thank you very much.
Say that again. Say it slowly. I've learned one thing about Ndebele women. They don't only taught me how to speak Ndebele.
I want to ask.
Yeah. So right. So I always tell them to speak slowly because you guys, when you speak, it sounds like you're on fast forward. Fast forward. Say it again slowly.
Kubongamina.
Alright, what does that mean?
I'm the one that's grateful to be invited.
Likewise, thank you very much for coming. Alright, Saka. Today is a wonderful day because I think in about 60-70 years, ever since 16 days of activism started, it's always been about the girl child, which is amazing if you ask me. But for the first time ever, the focus is on the boy child, which I think is about time,
It's always been, I don't think so. I think men are just not stepping up. Big sisters and women are stepping up for girls. Why are men not stepping up for boys?
Which is very true because, you know how it is in Africa where they say kuti mkomana hacheme.
A lie.
Mkomana aro and stuff like that. Like, we gotta be macho. So it's a bit awkward, for guys to come and say, alright guys, gentlemen, Munuzala, this month we are going to dedicate this month for us guys.
But November is already a men's month, where we focus on all your cancers. Have you had your prostate checked?
Yes.
Where we say don't shave, don't do other things, and just keep the focus and energies towards making men's lives better. But you all are focusing on the wrong things and doing the wrong things.
Some of us, but
anyway. No comment.
Like I'm saying, it's always the women who have to come and say, okay guys, you need a month. That's what I'm saying. There's never been a bunch of guys who come and say, hey, this is for us.
Because I feel men are always wanting to ride on women's hard work. So when women come together and say, we would love to talk about this and this, then men will come and say, oh, but you don't understand how hard it is being a man. But how will I know if you don't tell me? Why don't you, which is what I'm saying, as educated as all of you are, as successful as all of you are, as resourceful. So it could be through music, it could be through art, it could be through a pub, watching a game where you're like, hey guys, lately we're seeing many young black men committing suicide.
Yeah.
It's not the first time, it's been happening. But now there's a lot more spotlight on it. And I think it takes men to come together and say, brothers, we are dying.
Yeah.
Umjolo uyasinyisa. Finances are not financing. We are not reaching. We are not blah, 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 blah. How can we support each other as brothers? So you have men's clubs. You have, is it a boozers league? You have hiking things. You have boys, whatever. I don't know.
Yeah.
But where as brothers you hold each other up. That if I call you in the middle of the night and say, brother, take this movie. You don't need to ask me. And then, so you just
what are you doing about it?
Yeah. You just like, my guy, I'll be there.
Yeah.
So I think it's up to men. Or maybe it hasn't hit you guys hard enough. But we're worried. You need to do something.
No, I think men have got it. That Sunday boozers, some play basketball, some play judo, all the sports and stuff. I think that's enough for men.
Clearly not. Clearly not.
Because I just don't see my brothers sitting in a room like AA, and because I'm telling you, this is how the DNA of African men is. Like, if you get slapped, to show you're a man, you're supposed to not flinch. You're supposed to say, hey, I can take it, give me some more. You know what I mean?
What I am challenging you, as the representative, when you go back to the men's conference,
yes, as
the spokesperson, I want you to go back and say to them, you make music, right? So it's not about you guys sitting together. You could be doing a jam session. You could actually communicate through music. You could use music as an outlet. Everything is different. Not all women want to sit around and be like, oh, my life is difficult. Woe is me. But we all have different ways. Let the soccer players play their soccer. Let the hikers hike. Let the cyclists cycle. You, through your art of music, let it be a portal for people to come and express. If the best songs that we know are heartbreak songs. Always. So I think we all need to take up, wherever you are, use your sphere of influence to make it possible that if there are young musicians out there that are struggling, be like, hey, hit me up, come through to the studio. That moment when you're creating, when you're making music, could just save a life.
I think so, yeah. But like, I'm talking like, let's talk on like a broad level. Like, being a man is tough, being a woman is probably tougher.
I don't think it's a competition. I think being a human is tough.
I was being nice, you hear me? Being a man is tough,
I knew you were
being a
baiting
woman
me, that's
is
why I was
tougher.
like,
All right,
okay, let's go.
Right, so, women, like, I'm not taking shots at anything, but like, women grow up and they're like on this whole, they're encouraged, like from the jump, they're encouraged to express themselves, their feelings, you know what I mean? Act emotionally and everything. But on the man's side, like, I grew up with my dad is always like this, right? You know, like, shut up. You know what I mean? You have to be emotionally stable, you cannot, you know what I mean? You cannot lose it, right? So, it's easier for a woman, for example, for two people, right? They're going out, they're in a relationship, and they decide to film their intimate moments, right? Yeah, well, it's a PubCast, and we're gonna drink for that one. All right,
Let's
check this out, right? Fully consensual, and they do the thing. Whatever happens. Then something comes out, and the whole world sees it, right? Automatically, before any story is heard on either side, the woman's the victim. 1, 2, a man and a woman are been married, on the rocks, whatever you call it, right? If the woman beats up the man, and this man is like, hey, yo, man, this is against the law, he's gonna go to the police station, right? The charge officer, right? The guy who writes the docket, when he hears the story, he's gonna put his pen down. You see, in your life, exactly.
No, because I hear
what
you're saying.
When all this happens, my brethren is there, right? He's going through the most. He's going through it all. I can't make this woman happy. She's beating on me physically, emotionally, right? I can't tell my brothers because they'll laugh. I can't go to the cops, they'll laugh. I can't go to anyone because I grew up in a situation where every man is just supposed to be this stone cold, you know, I can take anything type, you know what I mean? And like the emotional side and the sensitive side of men, especially African men, has been like thwarted. And that's when you see like when someone's girlfriend gets taken by another man, someone commits suicide.
Taken, guys. We're not like cupboards or chairs, you know, that you're picked up and taken. But I hear what you're saying, and I think it's important that through these conversations, through these dialogues, and hopefully people that are listening, we start to question, because we see that it has harmed us. It has not done us any good. Yeah. So while men became physically stronger, they became emotionally weak because they didn't know how to tap into their emotions. And like you're saying, as women, we tap into emotions, right? Because we are allowed to. But we need to take that away. Nobody's allowed to do anything. No one should do anything that doesn't work. If you are a guy and something has cut you up, cry, my friend.
True.
Embrace it.
True.
Don't allow outside voices to govern how you feel. Because when you hold it in, that anger, it eats you up. And then at times, the only way that some people feel they can express it is physical. And we're not about that, right? Yeah. So this is when people start to drink, will start to fight, will take drugs, will start to harm themselves. So I'm thinking we need to change it. Yes, because we already know what it is. And as we change, we will also influence our children. That be a human being. Don't be a man, don't be a woman. Be a good human being.
Yes.
And if it's hard, it's hard. If it's easy, it's easy.
Yeah.
But just be in tune with who you are. Be a good human, do good, and be good.
All right, so let me ask you a question as the spokeswoman for the other species. How do you think? Because how do you think ladies can help? Since clearly we've seen there's a problem. How do you think ladies can help their fellow men?
I will answer being a mother of a son. I think at times we need to be kinder. Okay. I think we need to be kinder. We forget that, like I say, I call myself a queen. Why I call myself a queen is that I know I'm royal. And if I put myself on that pedestal, it means that everybody that I interact with is worthy.
Yes.
Therefore, I will also hold them as royals.
Yes.
They will also see me as a royal and treat me the same way as I would treat them. The energy you give is the energy I give back, right? So at times we become so hard. I've seen it. Where at times we become so hard on men because we want a bit of the new world, but then we want a bit of the old world. So I feel men are, I could be completely wrong, but
yes,
I think men are a bit confused in where they fit in. Because I'm independent, but I will say to you, I still want a man to take care of me.
Yes.
So now a man is like,
but how do you mean that you're independent, get the bill?
Exactly. So I think as we have constantly said, forward with the girl child, forward with the girl child, we've all forgotten about the boy. So now a boy is like, what's my role?
Yeah.
What's my duty? Who's protecting me? Who's pushing me? What is required of me? Which is why I'm saying we should get to a point where we say forward with all children. Because if we don't do that, we will have a girl that is high up and a boy who is down and will continue to talk down on the boys like, oh, you're not doing right. But no one has told them what to do.
Yeah.
So I think we need to be kinder. Also, we need to take every opportunity as a teaching opportunity. Men might not know everything.
Very true.
Women might not know everything, but we need to sit down and have conversations and not point and fact, but where you actually take something as a teaching opportunity, where you're like, oh, okay, I hear you. If you don't mind, can I make you aware of ABCD? Also to help out. We live in a country where, hey, kunzima, you know, some days you're up, some days you're down. So if you have a man in your life, is it a brother, is it a lover, is it a son, is it a whatever, understand that they are also trying to do the best that they can with what they have in a society that's not trying to assist them. And because men are men, they must provide.
They have to.
Even if it kills you. But we need to understand at times that I can say to you, babe, I got you.
I got this.
Right? And not yaga yaga to everyone. Hey, you see, that's what I mean.
No, it's a good for nothing. Wada wada.
if we're saying we are being equals means I cover your back, you cover my back. And it's us, it's the two of us. We know what we're doing because we're working towards a greater plan. How are we raising our children? It's me and you. How are we taking care of finances? I'm not working. Okay, babe, I can, but how about we? How can we, must we, should we, can we? If we are good to each other, I think we can make it work. Let's be kinder to men.
I agree totally. Like,
And they're good men. I need to say that. Let me look at the camera. So they are good men. It's unfortunate that we've chosen to celebrate the bad ones and we hashtag them and we forget to celebrate the men that are showing up, the kings, because we can't be queens in jail. There must be kings.
Amen.
There are kings that are showing up, taking responsibility, raising children, working, providing, breaking their back. So we need to acknowledge, we need to move from just saying, oh, men are bad, because they are good men, and we're taking away from the good men by praising the bad men. How about we ignore the bad ones and say, you know what, King, I see you, I'm with you, let's go.
Okay, thank you very much. Shout out to you, Queen. Yeah. Okay, let's dig deeper. Since you're here and you've now stated that not all men are terrible.
That's true.
Right? Because I want you to help me clarify what people mean when they say gender-based violence. Because many people just think, no, this dude beat up the shorty. You know what I mean? I want you to go deeper because there's sexual abuse, there's emotional abuse, there's physical abuse, there's financial abuse. So since this year, we're talking about the boy child. Let's break down all these different and various types of abuses the boy child has been subjected to.
I go back
and
to
how we can, combat that.
So when we talk about gender has always been an issue of she and he. But we are now living, take Fizzo, in a world of she, he, them, and many more,
yes.
Right? So when we talk about gender, we are talking about a certain side. So most of the time, why gender-based violence and why the 16 days becomes about women and children is the reported cases, the majority of them, of the abuse that is perpetrated is on women and children. Not to say that there is no abuse on men. There is.
Yes.
The numbers just don't tally. Like you're saying, men don't report because they'll be laughed at. They can't even share because they also feel emasculated.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
So we acknowledge that. But we're saying for these 16 days, and I'm hoping that for 365 days, we constantly raise awareness. Ukuthi indoda echaya umfazi, a man that hits a woman or that raises their hand, that kicks, that bites, that rapes, that whatever it is that you do to a woman, to a child is not cool.
Yes.
We need to use our words, right? And so when we look at it, many times when we talk about abuse, people think physical. But a perpetrator is educated. A perpetrator is not dumb. So with time, they've also moved on. They've realized that if I beat patients up, tech money will see it.
Yeah.
But my guy, Fizzo, how come patients has got a black eye and blah, blah, blah.
You can see it past the shades.
And also you heal from physical abuse. But when it becomes emotional, you're breaking the soul of a person.
Yeah.
When it becomes financial, I can't even prove to anyone. When it becomes psychological, I can't even go to someone and say, listen, my friend, who will be? Because did he hurt you? No. So what's the problem? It's just words.
The one with the problem.
It's just words. Yeah. So what we're trying to do is to raise awareness on all these, I will call them atrocities, that are happening behind closed doors.
Yeah.
We used to think that abuse happens in homes where people are not educated, low income, rural areas. But it's men in SUVs with the latest phones, sitting in offices, CEOs, shiny suits, great English. who are doing this because they have the financial power that nothing will happen to me.
But I think you're missing. Why are you focusing? We're talking about the boy child. We know all this.
For the boys, which is what I'm saying, that we need to have conversations where we are saying, big brothers, fathers, uncles, step up in defense of the boys. You will find that study has shown that for many males, their first sexual encounter is with a maid.
Yeah.
Which is abuse. But when men think about it, they're like,
great practice.
But it's not. As long as you are below the age of consent and you are having to indulge an older person or a person with more authority over you, the moment you can't say no, take Fizzo, it's not equal. So as much as you think it's experience, it's but that's abuse. And then that becomes ingrained in the mind of a man. But you didn't have a choice. Did you have a choice? You don't have a choice. She's older, you're younger.
Yeah.
So those are things that we need to start addressing. But these are things that as men, you're not too keen to talk about. But we should be talking about, because that's abuse.
I'll speak from a man's point of view. I've had this conversation with so many men, right? I don't think they look at it as abuse.
That's where the thing is, that
Actually,
there are many things that happen to men.
Of honor, like
I
lost
think
my
you wear
virginity at
it.
15.
I think you wear it as a badge of honor to
Belong to a
hide.
certain.
Shall I say to hide the shame and the pain? Because while you're saying, "Oh, wow, it's a badge of honor," you know deep down that something is not right. You know deep down that, hey, but nah, fam. Because you're not the one that walked forward and said, hey, I would like to. It was done to you. So you are trying to change the narrative and man up. But I think we need to protect boys.
Yes, absolutely. I do agree.
From such situations. We also need to make boys aware. And men, what abuse is. Physical abuse. We need to let them know where to go. And that they shouldn't be embarrassed. We have places like Padare, I think, in Kundleni for men, who are like, guys, we are open, come through, come and talk to us, you know? And as soon as brothers in a brotherhood, the same way that Arsenal fans, Manchester United, both rally together,
yes.
You guys need to rally together for boys. You need to advocate for rules that will protect young men.
Okay. Let's do it. Let's say, give you a situation, right? It happened where a young man, very young, 13 years old, was accused of rape, right? And then the shame and everything to him, his family, everyone. Then he committed suicide. Only for days later, the young lady decided, nah, I was just joking. So this is what happens. Right? A young lady says, I've been raped. There's not much investigations which is done, right? Guilty upon arrival, you're gone, dead, right? And this is a joke. So there should be some form of accountability. That if you're gonna step up and say, hey, this person abused me in a certain way, you have to be accountable all the way and not just say, and then when it gets too hard, you be like, no, you know what? Nah, I was just joking. That the boy child needs like super CIA protection, you know what I mean? Because, for example, let's say I date a woman, right? I go out with her and then we decide to go to my place, right? I am very vulnerable. In as much as we might consensually do what we're doing, tomorrow morning, if she just wakes up and sees the message she's not comfortable with, she can go to the police station, and by the end of the day, I'm in a cell.
I hear what you're saying.
That is a weapon.
I agree that sex has been weaponized, but it always has been. It's just that we're becoming aware of it. In the case of the 13-year-old, what I will say is, go back. I'm sending you a game. Go back to the men's conference this is the part that I'm saying you need to lobby, you need to advocate, you need to push lawmakers, policymakers, who are also male, right? Majority of them are male. Lawyers, sit down and say, how do we as men protect ourselves and young men if in the instance of being falsely accused of rape, there must be a follow-up system to hold everyone accountable.
Yeah.
The same way that if I am found to have said, I stole something or I didn't, blah, 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 a case of fraud, there's a follow-up system.
Yeah.
You need to challenge, go to the Constitution, make amendments that if someone falsely accuses, because that kills, not just physically.
Yeah.
That can kill her career. If I go out to the world and I say, take Fizzo sexual assaulted me, right? Even if I take it back 3 weeks later,
it's already been
it's
done.
a stain that you will always have when people look you up. And now we live in the world of social media and the internet. And the famous saying is the internet never forgets.
Yep.
Right? So I think the challenge is for men to say, you know what, enough is enough. We've seen it happen. And for the women that do it, it's a horrible thing because not only does it kill and hurt men, but it also drags the lips of work, the hard work that's being done for women to be listened to when they are actually raped. So when you lie about being attacked or raped or violated, it's not just about you. Mm-hmm. It's got a ripple effect to the entire community.
Yes.
Because another woman, another sister, another mother, another daughter will come in right after you, and the officers won't believe it.
Yep.
They're supposed to believe everyone, but when that happens, so I'm challenging you to go back and say, guys, how do we change the laws? How do we protect ourselves? How do you say when patient comes over to my house, do you make me sign? Do you record? Do you what you men need to step up and say, how do we protect ourselves?
Yeah.
Like I said, you've got the resources, you've got the manpower. Why are you not stepping up and
Okay. One last thing, right? I don't know who the perpetrator is, but it's definitely an offense to my brothers. You know how 5 years ago there's certain jobs which were predominantly male, right? Fair and fine. And some of them it only made sense for them to be predominantly male, right? Then recently these predominantly male professions are now predominantly female, right? I'm going somewhere with this. And then I was having a conversation with my tete, and she's like, because of common answer, I'm drugs. And I'm like, yeah. My argument is they're on drugs because there's nowhere to work, because wherever you go, where a guy, whether I might not have that much education, but my physical strength can actually get me a job somewhere. You can't get that job because they're all full up with women. And then they've got nowhere else to go, and they spend the whole day out until someone says, hey, what are you gonna do?
Excuse my bullshit, but that is bullshit. That is bullshit. You know what? What I think is men every now and then want to hide behind equality when women are pushing for equality, right? Because you guys have been winning anyway, but women have been struggling and making it work. So if there is no job, why are you not creating a job? How is it easier for you to then just say, I'm just gonna sit by the corner and say, there are men that are walking around the city carrying belts, carrying beras, carrying whatever. Why are you not also setting up? Why are you not creating a job? Whatever it is. Why are you not opening up a studio and recording? Why are you not writing? Why are you not selling tomatoes? Why are you not, whatever it is that you can, why are you not picking up bottles and recycling? Why are you not, there is not enough jobs in this country anyway.
Yeah.
And many people in this country are self-employed. So why are you not employing yourself and maybe in the process creating employment for your other friends. Instead of crying for equality, for women are taking our jobs, so I'm just going to sit here and get drunk and be dragged up. No, get off your butt and work. Like on that one, like let's move on to the next one. I'm not even wasting
It is. All right. For the sake of time.
For peace.
And peace, I'm gonna let it slide. But no, I'm not gonna let it slide. Okay. For example, remember there was that there's some jobs which you like, okay, we get it, man, let's include
like
the
what?
women.
Give me an example.
Dog.
Like, give me an example. What is it that a man can do that a woman can't do?
Carrying
I can even
security
standing
guard.
up.
Okay, let's go. A firearm carrying a security guard. There's no way a woman can do that. Because when real violence
Which women
really
are around?
erupts. This security, when is the
There's
last time
nothing you can do, I can't do. I can even pee standing up. So let's not put things down to men and
So
women.
there we go. That's the abuse I'm talking about.
It's
right
not.
there.
It's the moment that you say that.
Because if I could have a baby, you'd be useless.
So you think. But all I'm saying is
now.
that no. But what I'm saying is we all have our roles.
Yes,
right?
that's
And
that's
in
the
our
whole-
roles, you will deposit your semen in me. I will carry the child. I will give birth and. But what I'm saying is, when it comes to life things, don't say that. Oh, there's things that only men can do. Come on.
Alright, shorty, you're with your mans, is right? You're in your house at 3 a.m., right? Then you hear some funny noises. You definitely know there's somebody in the house downstairs. Are you gonna be like, alright, you know, baby?
Okay, I don't have enough.
Right, there we go.
First of all,
Thank you very much. Thank you so much, patient. This is the PubCast. We'll check you out next week. You know what I mean?
First of all,
This episode of the PubCast was brought to you by the Southern African Parliamentary Support Trust.